Inside the stories that affect you. This is Inside KELOLAND.
Good evening, I'm Don Jorgensen. Thanks for joining us. We're just days away from one of the biggest weekends of the year for the Denny Sanford Premier Center. The Summit League Basketball Championships get underway on Saturday. And tonight, we sit down with the Summit League and the Sioux Falls Sports Authority to find out what goes into getting this event ready. Feeding South Dakota will benefit from the games. We'll have details on a friendly competition, plus what goes into making Sioux Falls an ideal host city. Well, thousands of people will file into the Denny Sanford Premier Center this weekend for the start of the Summit League Basketball Championships. And joining us now to talk about the games are Thomas Lee and Austin Bramley from the Sioux Falls Sports Authority and Ryan Powell from the Summit League. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. The event, it lasts 4 days long. How much goes into getting this tournament ready?
Well, I mean, you can start it out with all the volunteers that we need, and that's kind of a 12-month recruiting process. We need about 140 people behind the scenes helping us out, all the way from practice sites to hospitality for our food for the sponsors and volunteers, ushers, just a whole bunch of people go into this thing to help us out.
And Thomas, this whole process doesn't start, just a few months ahead of time.
It does not. We're actually going to be taking notes this weekend to see how we can improve next year. So it really is a 12-month process. We, as a sports authority, jump into some other events here, in the next couple months. But the Summit League is really our Super Bowl. I heard Ryan say it earlier. It's always on our minds. So we certainly ramp up with about 6 or 7 months to go. But trust me, it really is a 12-month thought process to see how we can keep getting better each year.
What are the carrots that you dangle in front of the Summit League to get them to come here every year?
It's not us. We do what they ask us to, and we hope we do it well. But I think, and Ryan may attest to it, it's the people. It's the people that come out and support it via the fandom here in the area, the business support, the volunteers that we get. Sometimes we have to turn volunteers away because we have too many people wanting to help us out. And usually events like this may take a dip after the year 3 or year 4 in the community. We're going on our 12th year this weekend, and there's not been a dip. And that's a testament, I think, to them and to the area.
Awesome.
I think Ryan would agree with this too. The Premier Center, the Denny Sanford Premier Center, is a fantastic facility. Blake and their staff do a great job, and they've just been fantastic to work with.
Well, Ryan, let's bring you in and on this discussion. For the Summit League, when you look at Sioux Falls, what attracts you to Sioux Falls?
I think for our membership and our footprint, it's kind of right in the middle. We have several teams along the I-29 corridor. We have some Denver out west and Western Illinois and Purdue, Fort Wayne east of us. But I think it's just it's kind of a central spot for all of them to come. And like Austin and Thomas are talking about, the city really gets behind this event and really loves this event. And the Premier Center is a great venue. Plenty of hotels, plenty of restaurants, plenty of things for people to do when the game's not going on. So it's a perfect site for us.
I was going to ask you, I mean, as from the Summit League's perspective, what do you look for in a host city?
I think a lot of those things, just, you want to have good attendance of people who care about basketball, care about sports, and we're within, 45 miles of Brookings and Vermilion. You get Omaha 2.5 hours away. Fargo's 3 hours away. Grand Forks is 4 hours away. So you can get people who can just hop in a car and come see it. They don't have to necessarily plan it too far out in advance to get here. I think that's important. Several factors. Just the city itself has so much going on. The growth of Sioux Falls over the last decade has been, really big. And I think the Summit League has rode that momentum as well. And our event's marquee event, I think, around this area. So we're excited to be in Sioux Falls.
Well, we're getting excited for it as well. And for some of our viewers who maybe never been to the Summit League Championship games, what's the atmosphere like?
So last year was my first year at the Summit League, so my first year to really experience it. And I've been in college athletics for several years and been in conference tournaments around the country, and I was blown away by just the passion, the fan base. There's plenty to do. There's suites. There's other areas for people just to mingle. It's kind of like a big party, and there's great basketball going on in the court in front of them. So it's just a time for people that they can mark it on their calendars and know that it's going to be, a place to be in March and a place that you don't want to miss out on.
And I know you said this to me off camera. You said this is kind of like your Super Bowl.
Right. It is for the Summit League, and I think for this region, like just to to have something that you can look forward to, that you can kind of call your own. I think it's important for the Midwest, the Midwesterners who have passion about where they live, and we get to showcase Sioux Falls as a great city, and it's kind of like a hidden gem. I know there's been some talks about just the attendance increase and things like that, and people from, the college basketball world who don't realize that the Summit League's like one of the top 3 or 4 attended conference tournaments in the country, and that's not just mid-major, that's amongst the Power Fives and the bigger conferences as well.
And from the Sports Authority's perspective, when you're looking at SDSU and USD being a couple of the staple teams that have really attract the crowds around here, it's got to help a little bit when they're highly ranked every year. Sure,
we're not too biased, right? We just we want the best team to win. But yeah, if there's that local draw, it helps attendance for sure. Ticket sales are great, really, pre-tournament. So even though it may not look sold out in there, if maybe some local teams don't advance, it actually is because we do so well with that ticket sales. And again, that's back to the fandom of the community and the support we receive.
Austin, how are ticket sales and where are we at? What are we expecting for fan base?
Yeah, ticket sales are good. All session passes are sold 2 years in advance for the most part. I know just last week, tickets went on sale from a single session perspective. The Summit Deck, which is a $20 ticket. You also get a comp to drink ticket with that. Those are on sale as well. So it should be a good atmosphere and a packed house.
Well, since you brought it up, tell us about the Summit Deck. What is that all involved?
Yeah, Ryan could probably answer that too if I leave anything out.
Okay.
But it's a $20 ticket up in the second deck. With that ticket, if you're 21 or older, you get a comped beverage ticket with that. So you can enjoy a beverage while you're watching the games.
Yeah, he nailed it. It's a new thing that we're trying to do, just to kind of add to the atmosphere and add a different element with just kind of, maybe for the non-basketball fan who just wants to kind of come and see and check out what, it's like. It kind of gets them in the door and trying to create, more fans and things like that. So it's just another way to try to get more people in the Premier Center and enjoy the event and kind of just offer some kind of new experience.
How have things changed? I'll ask all three. How have things changed? I know you've all been here maybe a short amount of time in your positions, but how do you think it's changed? And do you see other national tournaments, conference tournaments, and do you steal some ideas from them? Or can you just talk a little bit about that? Maybe some things that maybe you want to incorporate?
So I think the biggest change physically was when we moved from the arena to the Premier Center. So that was 6 years ago. We were in the arena. The tournament was in the arena for 6 years. This will be our 6th year in the Premier Center coming up. So I think that was a huge change. And like I mentioned earlier, sometimes there's that dip. That maybe prevented that dip at year 6 or 7 from happening because now there's this new, beautiful, shiny building that we're going to play these games in. So that was an incredible change, honestly, about midway through these 12 years.
So it all gets underway this is coming Saturday at noon, tip-off. Doesn't hurt when the South Dakota schools make it a long way,
You said
right?
that, not us. Yeah.
We'll be watching. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on Inside KELOLAND. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, the friendly competition you can take part in at the Summit League Championships. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside KELOLAND. The Summit League Basketball Championship is just days away. In addition to taking in the games, there is a competition that you can also take part in. And joining us now tonight to talk about the food fight is Ryan Powell from the Summit League and Jennifer Stensas with the Feeding South Dakota. Thank you both for being here. Ryan, you two again. We'll start with you, Jennifer. Yeah. What is the food fight?
Well, the food fight, within the conference, there's 9 different teams. And during the course of their basketball season, they're all doing events in their hometowns to raise food and funds for their own food pantries. But when they come to the tournament, they're encouraged to bring food and funds to Feeding South Dakota.
Okay, and what kind of food and funds? I know funds, what that is, but what kind of food are you looking for?
Right. Well, all of the food that we collect at the tournament will go to Feeding South Dakota's food pantry here in Sioux Falls. And we're always looking for people to hold food drives for us. We're really low on boxed helpers, some canned protein items, peanut butter, dry pasta, some of those basic staples that you put in your own food pantries at home. We could really use those to stock our shelves too.
And as long as we're talking about, just talk about the need in this area when Feeding South Dakota and the the need, the
Yeah.
void that it fills.
Well, in South Dakota alone, there's 1 in every 9 people who are food insecure, so that equates to about nearly 100,000 people. And when you look at Sioux Falls, we serve probably between 80 to 150 families every day of the week. So we've got a lot of families coming to us for some food assistance. We're not open to everyone every day. Our guests can actually only come visit us 4 times a year, so we're really just meant to be an emergency supply source of food.
And Ryan, why did the Summit League partner up with Feeding South Dakota?
Yeah, it's just it's a great partnership, and we've been doing, like she mentioned, for almost a decade or just over a decade on our campuses. And I was looking at our numbers because we kind of track this stuff. And year 1, it was like 6,000 pounds of food, and this past year it was over 40,000. In that span, we've raised over 850,000 pounds of food across our campuses and for Feeding South Dakota combined. So I think you just see the momentum grow with this, and it's really become a thing that our schools look forward to, and I know they benefit from, and the people of South Dakota benefit from it, and all across our membership. So it's a really cool deal.
800,000 pounds of food. I don't think I can wrap my brain
How
around
many
what that
tons is
looks
that?
like, but I'm sure it goes to a great cause. Jennifer, talk about you have a game booth set up as well.
Well, we have a table set up, and so we're grateful to the Summit League, the Sioux Falls Sports Authority, and the Denny Sanford Premier Center for allowing us into their space. We'll have a raffle going on where with either a $10 donation or 10 cans of food, you can get a raffle ticket to 2 all-session passes for next year's tournament. So we'll be doing that raffle on Saturday and Sunday. And if you're not able to donate that way, you can also go to yougivegoods.org, I believe it is, and look for Feed SD.
Mm-hmm. And how do you determine who wins this friendly food fight? And,
Summit League will help us out with
and what do they win?
Well, they won a trophy, and so South Dakota State's actually they've won 8 times in the 11 years that we've had it, and they raised just over combined. We do it's a formula, and don't ask me what the formula is, but it's pounds of food plus cash donations, and they combine it, and that's how you get your winner. And last year was the closest year yet because Omaha had won in 2018, and this past year South Dakota State, I think they edged Omaha. It was like 200, and that's a really narrow gap in the formula that we use. So it was literally a fight to the end to see who got the trophy.
Wow. Do you need any volunteers to help with all of this?
We do need a few more volunteers. They can go to feedingsouthdakota.org/volunteer and just look at our Sioux Falls volunteer opportunity calendar.
Okay, and it's going to be going on for 2 days.
2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
So bring your canned food items.
Yes.
All right. Thank you both for being here.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Good luck. When we come back, what's it like to play host city to a variety of events? That's coming up next. Welcome back to Inside KELOLAND. We have been talking about the upcoming Summit League Basketball Championships. And one person who may be a super fan of these kind of events is Terry Schmidt, the Executive Director of the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau. Welcome, Terry.
Hi, Don.
I have not seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, well, welcome to Inside KELOLAND. I know you like talking about the Summit League Basketball Championships.
Of course.
Let's start off by talking about what it means to Sioux Falls.
Well, I mean, let's put the economics aside for a minute.
Okay.
And just talk about the fact that, you know, I just mentioned to you 13, 14 years ago when we went down to Tulsa, that's where the Summit League tournament was. And we went down and watched it and, you know, did
because
our whole
you're going to put a bid on it.
We were going to put a bid on it, right. We were going after it. And in the afternoon games, it was practically empty in their gym. And I think back to that, and I look at ours at the Premier Center today. You know, it's about ready to blow the roof off with excitement. And the people, it's really a community and a regional thing that has become something to look forward to every year. And it's like the big deal. Everybody's pumped for it. Everybody's been talking about it. Do you have your tickets? Who are you going to go for? Is State going to beat the U? You're going to beat State? Other teams as well. But of course, the locals, you know. It
always helps. We keep saying it always helps when the local teams do well.
Yeah.
And like Ryan said from the Summit, he said it's kind of like their Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. And every year, Tom Duple and his crew do more and more and more. It's just a big homecoming and a big, huge event for everybody. Plus, you know, you think about the economy now.
Yeah.
We get to show Sioux Falls off. You know, look at the advertising, look at the news coverage that the Summit League gets and what that does for Sioux Falls. We get to share the community with all these people, and then they're eating in our restaurants like crazy. They're shopping, they're doing other things, other activities while they're here, and of course the hotels pick up some business. And it's just really a win-win for everybody. It's a feel-good family event that everybody waits for every year.
Even the super fan can't probably go to all the games, so there's got to be some other things for them to do while they're here.
Right.
So how do you roll out the red carpet to the fans?
Well, every way we can to work with the commissioner and the Summit League. You know, we encourage people, even if you've just got a small piece of paper, put Welcome Summit League in your windows. We encourage the hotels to do special things. We've got signage that I know the Summit League is putting up around town. We're putting on our building. You know, when they're here, it's how's it going? What can we do? What else do you need? If anybody can't find a hotel room, we help them find hotel rooms. If somebody breaks a tooth and, hey, we need a dentist, you know, we're right there. Anything that anybody needs. Of course, the Summit League themselves, Tom Duple, Mindy K. Larson, and their whole team are really the finest of the finest of planners. They've got it down pat. And they put on a spectacular event. And when the event is strong and the excitement is there, people feel good. And that preparation that they do from the minute the tournament's over to the next one, along with the community and all the sponsors, that's what makes it go.
Does your staff at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, do they actually go out and have like hands-on these conversations with the restaurants and the hotels and what they can, you know, tell them? Can you put something up on your marquee? Do those conversations start early? Or?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, months ago, you know, the Summit League is coming, the PBR is coming, other things that are coming along. We start, you know, motivating the businesses to think ahead. What can you do? It can't be just one or two. It really has to be a feel throughout the community. So, yes, we go out and talk to every group that we can, and we go out and talk to every business that we can, email, whatever, to get everybody fired up and motivated. Because if you walk into a store and you're a guest in Sioux Falls for the tournament, you walk into a store and somebody says, "Are you here for the Summit League?" And they say, "Oh," the conversation starts. Everybody's excited. Where are you from? And that's what the kind of community that Sioux Falls is. Very welcoming, wanting to know about people and saying thanks for being here.
So if you had to put a dollar on it, what is the dollar economic impact?
Each year, it really depends on which teams make it to the finals, because some teams, fans don't have to drive as far as others, but it's in the millions of dollars every year. You know, you add in all of the restaurants, the shopping, the airlines, the rental cars, the hotels, all the other incidentals and service industry, plus the media exposure that Sioux Falls gets, and it's in the millions of dollars every year.
I'm sure. This always comes up every year, especially now that we have the Premier Center and it's going on 6 years. And do we have enough hotel space in the city for big events like this?
Depends on what event you're talking about. For the Summit League, yes, we do. As we look forward into our future and talking about NCAA bids that, you know, we all dream about and want to bring here, we have enough hotel rooms. It's what kind of hotel rooms and what level of amenities that they have.
Full service is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Full service hotel.
And that's what groups like the NCAA look at. If you get into conventions or other types of events, it really depends, again, on what that group is about, what they want, and their location. Location, location, location,
right.
Always.
You know, as you look towards the future with the Summit League and maybe some other events, what would you like to see happen in this city that maybe could put us at another level?
Well, now, this is just me talking.
That's all I'm
asking. This is not the Convention and
Visitors
Visitors
Bureau. It's just you and I here.
This is just me. I would love to see a big convention center in downtown Sioux Falls. We have a wonderful convention center, but we need growth around it. We need see and do. We need restaurants. We need little shops, et cetera. So we have a great convention center, and I think we're going to hopefully see some growth go in that direction. I think long after you and I are not doing what we're doing today, I think someday there will be a big convention center downtown. Our downtown's exploding. The nice thing, though, out of the other side of my mouth, I will say, with the convention center the way it is today, or where it is today, you can get anywhere in 15 minutes in Sioux Falls. So that's a real plus. But that's kind of my dream that's out there. And of course, as the city grows, we've got more hotels coming on, more of the full service properties coming into town. Our restaurant world keeps growing. We need to keep growing. What else is there to see and do? Because people are always looking for new and additional things to do while they're in town. So Sioux Falls is doing it. We're on the right path. We're going there.
And speaking of that, just recently we held the Summit League swimming and diving competitions here in Sioux Falls, and I know we have some video that. What kind of impact did that have? I mean, having an indoor aquatic center like this is fantastic.
It is fantastic, and that is a beautiful facility. You know, we need to keep things like that going. Again, you know, that's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of economic impact. That brings in a whole nother group of people that maybe aren't the basketball people, but now the swimming people come in. They bring their families, they bring their friends, the fan base, the officials, etc. It all adds up, and they get to enjoy a beautiful new facility.
And is this something that the Summit League advertises, or you know, to let people know? Because I'll be honest with you, I was kind of quite surprised that it was being hosted here in Sioux Falls.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, the Summit League does a lot of promotion on it. I think because it's something newer, maybe.
Right.
The word hasn't gotten out quite as strongly as maybe the basketball. You know, but with the Summit League basketball tournament, let's face it, you put USD and South Dakota State in there, and it's kind of like, voila, the party's on, you know. So swimming isn't maybe quite as out there. People aren't as competitive about it. I mean, they're interested in it, and they want to go watch. But
South Dakota is very much a basketball and football community.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. But
yeah.
when you look at the Summit League, and I'm sure you're going to be going to the games, just that atmosphere. We were talking about it off camera.
Yeah.
Talk about it on camera.
It's just too fun. You get out there, and whether it's a South Dakota team or not, you can feel the momentum. The people get, you know, really energized about their team. It's a beautiful facility. It's clean. It's easy to watch basketball in, and you can just feel the energy and the momentum in those games. It's really entertainment. It's great family entertainment, and it's a lot of fun. Sometimes, I swear, especially when, you know, you get down toward the finals, the roof's going to blow off with excitement. Well,
I've attended a couple of the games, and if you happen to look away, you know something exciting is happening that you need to look at the court.
That's right.
Because
you better be
the crowd will let you know something exciting is happening.
That's right. And then, you know, there's the pep bands that are there that add a little jazz and fun to the whole thing, too. But yeah, sometimes you can't hear yourself think. Yeah. It's really fun.
Terry, thanks for coming on Inside KELOLAND. Really appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. Inside KELOLAND. We'll be right back. Whether you're at the games or watching from home, you can follow all the Summit League basketball action through a special page that we've created on KELOLAND.com. Here you're going to find everything from our live blogs, brackets, and pictures. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Don Jorgensen. Thanks for joining us.